my daughter exposed the truth, you don't need anything. Her incredible plan changed everything. Emily gripped the steering wheel as she drove through the familiar streets of her suburban neighborhood in Ohio, worry lines etched deep on her forehead. Another long day lay ahead. With 2 low-wage jobs to juggle and bills stacked high, she felt like she was running a marathon on an empty tank. But all of that faded when she turned to look at Lily, her spirited teenage daughter, whose laughter cut through the anxiety in the car. It was in moments like these that Emily felt they could conquer anything together. But the cracks in their perfect bond were becoming increasingly visible. The financial stress made Emily feel like a failure, constantly trying to provide a better life for Lily. What is the point of all this? She thought, biting back tears, as she envisioned her daughter's bright future marked by experiences that felt just out of reach. Lily, perceptive and inquisitive, often sensed her mother's struggles, and it left an ache in her chest. Their lives had become a balancing act of weighty responsibilities, where their hopes for a better life clashed with harsh realities. In school, Lily was assigned a project to explore American values. She meticulously pored over ideas like cooperation and the essence of community, which stirred an ember in her heart. Seeing the changes around her, gentrification threatening their beloved local café, once a hub of laughter and friendship, made her long for a return to the warmth of their community, a place where everyone knew each other's names. I need to do something, she thought, a plan forming. Determined and passionate, she drafted an ambitious proposal to the school and set out to organize a community rally. We can share our stories, she announced, her eyes sparkling with hope. But Emily couldn't help but worry about her daughter's naive optimism. How can we change anything? She thought, as her heart raced at the idea of confrontation. What did they really have that could sway a system indifferent to their struggles? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days went by and tension crackled in their home as they prepared for the rally. Emily watched as Lily became more fervent, more convinced of their ability to spark change. Overwhelming feelings of pride mingled with doubt. The stark realities became glaringly obvious. Neighbors shoved away from conversations, minds closed as if by some collective resistance against the truth. On the day of the rally, a swirl of emotions filled the air. The community gathered, hearts hoping for connection, but doubt loomed like heavy clouds. And then, there it was, Lily stepping to the makeshift stage, trembling yet resolute. Today, we confront the truth. We must emerge from the shadows of our struggles. The crowd pulsed with anticipation, holding their breath as Emily's heart pounded against her chest. But then, an unexpected confrontation jolted the crowd. A voice from the back shouted, questioning the point. The tension thickened, stirring Emily's heart. Would this rally unite them or fracture their dreams? As they faced the unexpected challenge, everything Emily thought she knew about strength, family, and community hung in the balance. Would she embrace the courage blooming in Lily or let doubt chain them both? Lily's voice wavered as she stood at the podium. The weight of uncertainty hung heavy in the air, pushing against her confidence. What do you mean? She called out, trying to sound brave. The crowd turned, murmurs rippling through them like a wave. Emily felt her stomach knot with both fear and admiration for her daughter. The man who spoke was older, his face worn but sturdy. What is this really going to change, kid? Isn't it just a waste of time? The words cut deep, reverberating through the crowd. She could see the flicker of enthusiasm in some faces dimming. Listen. Lily took a breath, feeling a fire ignite within her. She needed to pull them back, to rally their spirits. You all know what this cafe means to us. It's not just coffee and pastries, it's our sanctuary. We can't let it disappear without a fight. Emily watched with bated breath as Lily's fervency surged. A few heads nodded, rekindling sparks of hope. But that skeptical voice echoed in her mind, reminding her that hope alone wasn't enough. Who even listens to us? Another voice chimed in from the crowd, fear creeping into the question. They're just going to bulldoze it over and build luxury condos. Lily swallowed hard, sensing the tide of doubt washing over her. No. We can make them listen. We have stories to share, people who care. Together we can fight. If we just stand together. Emily felt the pulse of energy in Lily's words. But another part of her was gripped with anxiety. Could they really create a wave of change? Did they have the power to take on the developers or the city council? As the crowd remained in a state of hushed uncertainty, Emily stepped forward, caught in the current of their emotions. You know what? She proclaimed, raising her voice to cut through the doubt. We're tired of being ignored. We've worked hard for this community. Our voices matter. The crowd shifted, their energy starting to crackle back to life. Faces turned sympathetic, like they were grasping for something solid to hold on to in a shaky world. Birds flew overhead, free in the vast sky, embodying the dream Lily clung to. New people come in and change our homes, our way of life, Emily continued, her passion igniting. But that's not what we're about. We have something here that can't just disappear. Lily viewed her mother out of the corner of her eye, heart swelling with conflicting pride and fear. Emily's fiery spirit sparked a chain reaction among their neighbors. Whispers turned into shouts of agreement, the tide slowly turning back towards hope. But just as the energy shifted, a phone rang loudly from somewhere in the crowd. Laughter spread as the moment felt shattered. The rally's seriousness felt like it was faltering, risking the momentum they had built. Let us not lose this. Lily shouted over the murmur. Tell your stories. Share what this community means to you, what you remember. As people began to stand up, one by one, a spirit of cooperation started to fill the air. Emily could hardly believe it. Hope was wrapping around them like a warm embrace, igniting passion under the dreary weight of their everyday lives. And then, just as the crowd exploded with connecting stories, a shadow fell across the makeshift stage. Emily's heart dropped as she recognized the familiar figure stepping forward, someone connected to the very building they were fighting for. Someone who could crush their hopes in an instant. What would happen next, as their hopes clashed with bureaucracy? The figure standing in the shadow was none other than Mr. Hayes, the developer whose company held plans for the café's land. His fine suit looked out of place against the gritty backdrop of the community rally. The crowd fell silent, a collective breath held. Emily's heart raced, she could almost hear it pounding in her ears. Lily's face shifted from determination to concern as she locked eyes with Mr. Hayes. Is this the place to share fairy tales? He said, a smirk playing on his lips. You really think stories and dreams can stop progress? This city needs change, and unfortunately, your little cafe is in the way. The words struck hard, each one landing like a blow. Emily could feel the tension in the air thicken, palpable like a low fog. She wanted to shout, to defend their home, but fear tied her tongue. Lily stepped forward, rallying her courage. You don't understand. This isn't just a building for us, it's our history, our community. Mr. Hayes raised a hand dismissively. Nostalgia won't pay the bills, kid. This area needs development. It's time for you to move on. A murmur of anger rippled through the crowd, but Emily knew they needed more than that. Could words alone make a difference? What could they say that would penetrate the cold armor of a man driven by profit? Why can't you see? Lily's voice cracked, fraught with emotion. This was my grandfather's cafe. People met here, made friends, fell in love. Can't you see what you're taking away? He regarded her, amusement flickering across his face. Sentiment is just that, a feeling. I'm here to make decisions based on numbers. Emily's heart sank as she noticed how the crowd shifted, torn between their feelings and the weighty reality of business. She took a step back, searching for the right words, wanting to ignite the stubborn fire in their hearts once more. You think you can just bulldoze our lives away because it's easier for you? A voice called out from the crowd. We want to go quietly. The man was older, gray whiskers framing a face filled with years of unseen struggles. We've lived here long enough to know what it means to fight for home. A wave of renewed strength rolled through those assembled. It was as if the sunlight pierced through the clouds of doubt. Lily and Emily exchanged glances. They were ready to fight back, together. You can choose to listen, Lily declared, emotion radiating from her every word. You've got a choice. We have voices that deserve to be heard. Mr. Hayes lifted his chin, disbelief etched across his features. The energy was mounting, a collective roar building like an approaching storm. But did they truly have the power to shift the tide? Lily stepped forward again, eyes blazing. We can show you the value of this community. We can crowdsource funding and push for community ownership. We'll make this cafe more than a coffee shop. It can be a hub for everyone, but we need your support. The tension hung thick, every heartbeat resonating with possibility. Mr. Hayes frowned, but Lily's proposition was a glimmer of something fresh. Yet, just as the whispers of hope began to swell, a sudden announcement came over the loudspeaker. The city council would be deciding on the café's fate in less than a week. Time was short. Could they mobilize their neighbors in time? As Lily's eyes widened with determination, Emily felt a wave of fear crash over her. Could they rally enough support before it was too late? But before she could speak, a voice within her whispered, "Is hope even enough?" The crowd buzzed with newfound energy, stories flooding into action, but the clock was ticking. What would happen by the end of the week? Would their dreams survive, or would hope shatter under the weight of bureaucratic indifference? Emily felt the crowd surge with energy, voices intertwining in a rhythmic chant of determination. They nodded, a wave of camaraderie washing over them. But inside her, doubt gnawed at the edges. Could they really pull this off before time ran out? This wasn't just about a cafe, it was about their lives, their community, their roots. Lily raised her hands, striving for silence. Let us share our stories. Gather our memories and experiences. We need to show Mr. Hayes and the council what this place means to us. Her words sparked something in the crowd. Emily watched as people stepped forward, ready to speak. An elderly woman with silver hair and kind eyes spoke first. I met my husband here, she began, her voice quivering. We shared countless coffees, dreams, and laughter in this cafe. It has been a home for us all. Next, a local artist shared how the cafe served as a gallery for his work, a canvas for the community to paint their stories upon. Every person added another brushstroke to their collective memory, illustrating the vibrant tapestry of life woven through the cafe's walls. Emily's heart swelled with pride. Each story knitted the fabric of their purpose tighter. But the clock was ticking. Lily turned to Emily, her green eyes bright. What do we do now? We need a plan. We can't just tell stories, we need to make them count. Suddenly, an idea sparked in Emily's mind, casting aside the fog of uncertainty. What if we host a community event here? A Save Our Cafe Day. We can showcase everything that makes this place special: art, music, food. We can invite the council and Mr. Hayes to see, firsthand, what he plans to destroy. Lily's excitement was contagious, her enthusiasm igniting the crowd even further. Yes. Let us set a date, gather everyone. We can raise funds, create a movement, and show them the spirit of our community. The air buzzed with purpose, a collective heartbeat of action. Emily felt fear transforming into determination as plans began to take shape. They huddled together, brainstorming ideas, organizing entertainment, local vendors, and the all-important invitation to the city council. But then doubts crept back in. What if nothing changed? What if Mr. Hayes remained unmoved? Later that night, Emily lay in bed, staring at her ceiling. She thought of all the people sharing their hearts, pouring their souls into memories of the cafe. But a shadow lingered at the edges of her thoughts. Could nostalgia really compete against cold, hard cash? As she wrestled with the question, she knew the answer lay not just in stories, but in unity, grit, and courage. She turned over and closed her eyes, feeling her heart drum with newfound resolve. They wouldn't go silently. The next morning, urgency pulsed through her veins as she joined Lily at the café. The sun streamed through the windows, illuminating the mismatched furniture and peeling posters of the past. "Let us get organized," Lily enthused, spreading papers across the worn table. "We need volunteers, flyers, and maybe even a petition." Emily nodded, a determined smile forming on her lips. Just then, the door swung open, and in walked Mr. Hayes again, his presence looming, eyes scanning the room. Their hearts sank collectively, but Emily noticed a spark of something different in Lily's eyes, a fierce fire ignited. This time, they wouldn't retreat. Emily felt a thrill run through her. Was it possible that they could change his heart, or at least make him listen? As Mr. Hayes approached, the air thickened with tension, anticipation crackling like electricity. "Are you ready for a fairy tale?" he quipped, a challenge evident in his tone. What would they reveal to him this time? And would he finally see the café for what it truly was, a beating heart in the middle of the community? The answer loomed large, waiting to unfold. Emily stood rooted to the spot as Mr. Hayes strolled closer, his expression unreadable. The light filtering through the café's windows cast shadows that danced on the floor, amplifying the unease swirling in the room. "Mr. Hayes," Lily began, stepping forward, her voice steady. "We've called this meeting to share what this café means to us. We believe it's more than just a building, it's a part of our lives." He raised an eyebrow, crossing his arms. "A nice sentiment, but memories don't pay the bills or keep places open." His voice dripped with condescension. Emily felt her stomach twist. Were they really going to let him strip away their memories just like that? But Lily pressed on, undeterred. "This café is history, it's where connections are made and dreams are nurtured. We're planning an event, a community gathering to showcase everything we cherish." Emily took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment press down on her. "We want to show you that this place isn't just a simple café. It's where families are formed, artists thrive, and friendships blossom." Her heart raced as she spoke, vulnerability lacing her words. Mr. Hayes narrowed his eyes, considering their passionate pleas. "And you think one event is going to change the council's mind? This decision is about development and profit. But it's about people too." Emily replied, a surge of adrenaline fueling her courage. "You may not see the value in it, but we do. We're willing to fight for our home." As she spoke, the café's regulars began to gather around them, drawn to the magnetic energy filling the room. The elderly woman who had shared her story spoke up again, voice shaking but resolute. "I've been coming here for years. It's more than just coffee, it's love and laughter. This is where my heart has made its home. You can't take that from us." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Emily felt a spark ignite in her chest, hope mingling with the uncertainty. Perhaps they could make him see. "Fine," Mr. Hayes said, rolling his eyes. "What is your little event plan? And make it quick." "I don't have all day." Lily jumped in, outlining their vision. "We'll have local musicians perform, art displays, food from our local vendors. We want the whole community to come together and show that this place has value worth preserving." Emily could see a flicker of impatience in Mr. Hayes' eyes, yet underneath, something else: hesitation. As they spoke about the details, Emily noticed the shift in the atmosphere, tension melting slightly as the crowd's energy swirled around them, hope creeping in like sunlight through the storm clouds. Mr. Hayes shifted his weight from foot to foot, his interest piqued despite his usual dismissive attitude. Then, he leaned forward, and Emily caught her breath. "All right, let us say I entertain this idea. What's in it for me? What can you offer that will support my cause?" A heavy silence fell. Plans danced precariously on the edge of possibility, and uncertainty clung to the air. Before anyone could respond, a young girl's voice piped up from the back of the café. Emily turned to see a little girl gripping a handmade sign that read "Save Our Café." "This place is special because it makes us feel happy. We don't want it to go away." A ripple of laughter and tenderness broke the tension in the room. The moment felt electric. Emily's heart soared, the girl's innocence revealed a truth Mr. Hayes couldn't deny. In the dawning quiet, Emily knew this was pivotal. "Mr. Hayes, what if making money and making a difference could coexist?" she asked, locking eyes with him. "What if we found a way to unite our goals?" He tilted his head ever so slightly, curiosity piqued. The ground felt a little less shaky. Could this be a turning point? As the gears began to turn, Emily sensed that this was their moment. Yet, the question of whether they could actually convince him to embrace the heart of community life lingered. Would Mr. Hayes rise to meet the challenge? Or would he turn his back again? The stakes were laid out before them, and Emily felt the relentless pull of determination pushing her forward. The next words exchanged could change everything. Would they be enough? Emily studied Mr. Hayes as silence thickened the air. His brow knitted, contemplating the implications of her offer. The café had always been a crossroads for her, where laughter echoed off the walls, where she and her friends had spilled their secrets over steaming mugs. Now, as she stood before him, her heart thumped with both fear and hope. "What if we host a fundraiser?" Lily interjected, her excitement bubbling over. "We can bring in enough traffic to show the council this place is worth saving." Mr. Hayes raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. "Fundraisers don't magically restore livelihoods. It's just lip service." He leaned back, crossing his arms again, those powerful arms that felt almost like obstacles, barriers to their dreams. But Emily was undeterred. "We won't just raise money. We'll extend our reach into the community. People will come not just for the food or music but to feel the heart of this place, to see why it matters." Every word felt heavier, illuminating the passion she carried deep inside. With her heart racing, she recalled the nights spent in the café, the beautiful chaos of poetry readings and art shows. "We could even partner with local charities, combine our efforts. Imagine the support we could create together." Mr. Hayes glanced around, the weight of the room settling on his shoulders. Emily could see the flicker of doubt inside him, a small crack in his exterior. Perhaps the idea was slowly taking root. A voice from the crowd broke the tension, a familiar tone filled with warmth. "I think it's brilliant." Mrs. Thompson, the café's longest patron, stepped forward. "We could invite the local artists and have a silent auction for their work. Everyone can contribute something." The crowd erupted with enthusiasm. The elderly man from the corner table chimed in with an idea for a bake sale. Another regular suggested a book fair with local authors, their words intricately tied to the fabric of the community. As the ideas flowed, Emily felt the nervous knots in her stomach unravel. Maybe they could pull this off. The din of conversation swelled, transforming the café into a lively planning session, each voice uplifting the next. Mr. Hayes, however, remained quiet, his face a mixture of skepticism and contemplation. "You know, a single event won't change the course of a town. What if the turnout doesn't meet your expectations?" His voice was steady, but she noticed the faintest hint of curiosity in his gaze. Lily shrugged, determination glinting in her eyes. "Even if just one person walks in and feels the magic here, isn't that worth it?" "Exactly," Emily added sharply. "Last year, we had an open mic night, and it sparked so many new friendships, not to mention art submissions. It changed lives. This café is already making a difference." "Making money and making a difference can coexist," the young girl echoed, clutching her sign tightly. "I'm only 8, but I believe it." Mr. Hayes scratched his chin, measured breaths filling the air like the shifting winds outside. After a long pause, he finally said, "All right, let us say I agree to this event. What kind of assurance can you give me that it won't just be a one-off success?" The crowd fell silent again, eyes darting between each other, anticipation crackling like static. Emily bit her lip. Did they have an answer? She felt a surge of adrenaline. "We'll make this ongoing. A series of events to keep drawing support. That way, we show the council we're serious." "Will that be enough?" Mr. Hayes' gaze swept over the crowd, his skepticism now tinged with just the barest trace of something deeper. Emily's heart raced. They had caught his interest, but the question of whether it was enough hung heavy. "We just need a chance to prove ourselves," she ventured, locking eyes with him. As hope blossomed, yet another question flitted across her mind. Could they really rally the community, ignite a movement large enough to save their beloved café? The weight of the moment was palpable, and Emily understood they were on the brink of something meaningful. But as doubt lingered like a shadow, she knew they must find a way to light the way forward. Would Mr. Hayes be the key they needed, or would he continue to stand as an immovable wall? The answer was still out there, veiled in uncertainty, waiting for them to seize it. The hum of excitement buzzed in the air as smiles spread across the café. Each person felt like a thread weaving into the fabric of a larger movement. Emily turned to face Mr. Hayes again, her voice trembling but determined. "We can do this. Just give us one chance." His eyes narrowed as he folded his arms tighter. "A chance? That means I do need to put my faith in you all." The weight of his words hung heavy. But instead of turning away, something in Emily sparked. Maybe, just maybe, they could show him why this mattered so deeply. Mrs. Thompson stepped forward, light on her feet. "What if we set up a committee?" Her voice soared over the chatter, igniting even more enthusiasm. "We can plan different themes for the events. It could be music, art, or even story nights. Something new every time." Emily nodded vigorously, dreaming of a lineup filled with creativity. "And we can reach out to local businesses for sponsorships. They want the cafe to thrive too. It could be a win-win." Mr. Hayes pursed his lips, tipping his head. "And what if it fails? What if you pour your hearts into this, and it crumbles to the ground?" The fear in his voice struck a chord within the crowd. Emily could feel her chest tighten. But it was now, in this moment, that clarity washed over her. "Then we learn." It came out strong, as if it had been simmering just beneath the surface. "We won't fall apart if it doesn't go as planned. We will adapt, try something else, and keep fighting." The crowd could sense the shift, voices rising in a crescendo of excitement and hope. It felt electric. She turned to see Lily grimacing, as though preparing for the worst. But just as quickly, her expression changed into a grin. With confidence building, Emily continued, "Let's create something that lasts, something beyond just a fundraiser. It's about community, connection, and resilience." "Mr. Hayes, can you see that?" There was a flicker in his eyes, something like hesitation mixed with intrigue. "And if I do say yes, what's the first step?" The cafe erupted into a chorus of suggestions: host an open mic night, start a social media campaign, create flyers throughout the neighborhood. Lily beamed, her hands clapping in delight. "We'll gather everyone we know. We can even decorate the cafe to reflect our history. A mural." Her enthusiasm was contagious, fueling passion in others. But as the positivity blanketed the space, Emily felt a whisper of fear clawing at her. What if they did rally? What if it worked but wasn't enough? She shook her head, attempting to fight those thoughts. "We can't just dream. We must put in the work." Mr. Hayes shifted in his chair, his expression now softer. "Okay, then. How do I fit in?" Before Emily could answer, an unexpected voice broke through the din. "Mr. Hayes, I've been coming here since I was a kid." A young man from the back stood up, his face earnest. "My mother used to bring me to this cafe. It's more than just a place to grab coffee. It's a part of who we are." The room fell silent again, hearts connected by the shared memories. Emily caught Mr. Hayes' eyes, and this time, there was the slightest flicker of something hopeful in them, a small, tentative flame. "What do you say? Will you help us?" she finally asked, staring directly into his gaze, seeking his agreement. An air of expectation filled the cafe, electricity hanging on the edge of every breath. She could already envision the path ahead, filled with possibilities. But as Mr. Hayes continued to ponder their offer, another question emerged in the back of her mind. Would it lead them toward the future they all envisioned or lay bare the secrets that might shatter those dreams? Mr. Hayes took a moment that felt eternal. Emily's heart raced. Would it be a yes or a no? Finally, with a shake of his head and a slight smile, he said, "All right, I'm willing to give you all a chance." Cheers erupted in the café, enveloping the space in a wave of excitement. Lily jumped up, wrapping her arms around Emily in an exuberant hug. "We did it. We really did it." Her laughter rang out like music, and others joined in, clapping and celebrating this shared victory. For the first time in what felt like ages, Emily breathed a little easier. But beneath the jubilance was a nagging uncertainty. Yes, they had a foothold, but the leap into the unknown still loomed dangerously ahead. She glanced at Mr. Hayes, who now looked thoughtful, his eyes scanning the room filled with smiling faces. "What's our first event then?" he asked, more to himself than anyone else. "We should make it something memorable, something that sets the tone." Someone shouted, "How about an open mic night? We can showcase local talent." "Or a book exchange," called another voice. Emily felt the energy stir and captivate, the possibilities swirling around them like autumn leaves caught in a gentle breeze. Each suggestion painted vibrant images in her mind. She could see the cafe bursting with creativity, laughter, maybe even a little chaos. But then a serious thought interrupted her daydream. Could they really bring everything together in a way that worked? Mrs. Thompson stepped forward again. "Let us do both. We can invite the neighborhood to bring their favorite books and share stories, while also having performances throughout the evening." "Yes," Lily exclaimed, "and we can have snacks from local vendors." Celebrating our own community could draw even more people in. A ripple of excitement flowed through the group. Each idea was met with murmurs of approval and enthusiastic nods. Yet, Emily's mind raced ahead, already strategizing how to keep this momentum. They had to gather volunteers, create a schedule, and most importantly, promote the event. "I can design some flyers," she piped up, trying to infuse her energy into the plan. "And we should set up a social media page. I know some people who would love to share it." As each person jumped in with suggestions, she felt the gears turning. People dived deeper into responsibilities, dividing tasks like seasoned event planners. But in the back of her mind, dread lingered, reminding her of the fear that had gripped Mr. Hayes. What if this effort wasn't enough? Just then, a quiet voice broke the buzz. "What if no one shows up?" It was a girl named Anna, looking nervous but brave. "What if we put in all this work and the turnout is just disappointing?" The room stilled, and Emily felt herself gulp. The reality of that possibility hit hard. But before worry could pull them under, Mr. Hayes spoke again. "It's a risk, yes. But everything worthwhile comes with uncertainty. What matters is your passion. If you put your hearts into it, that can draw people in like nothing else. Wouldn't you all agree?" His gaze swept across the crowd, and the brainstorming session felt renewed as people rallied around his words. Emily held on to that glimmer of hope. They all had something to contribute, something vital that might just light the path ahead. As the group excitedly began to whip up a plan, Emily caught a faint smile from Mr. Hayes. It was the first real sign of belief she had seen from him, and it added fuel to her ambitions. But as they shifted to finalizing details, Emily's phone buzzed. A message popped up from her sister. "You need to know the truth. It's about Mom. Call me." A chill ran down her spine. What truth? What could possibly change everything? "Hey, I need to step out for a moment," she said, her voice barely a whisper, as she glanced at the eager faces around her. A storm was brewing behind her sister's words, and she had to hear it. As she walked away from the excitement of plans being crafted, uncertainty gripped her heart. Would this revelation alter everything they were building? What lay ahead was more ominous than the buzzing cafe, and she needed to brace herself for what was coming next. The moment Emily stepped outside, the weight of the cafe's energy faded behind her, replaced by a stark chill in the air. She inhaled deeply, trying to ground herself. The vibrant colors of autumn leaves swirling in the breeze felt distant, as her mind darted back to her sister's message. Thoughts spun. What could possibly be so urgent? She pulled out her phone, her fingers trembling as she dialed the familiar number. It rang twice before her sister answered, her voice shaky yet resolute. "Emily, I'm glad you called. We need to talk. It's about Mom's health." The words hung heavy in the air, deflated the small joys and hopes that had just been swelling inside Emily. What's going on? Is she all right? Panic seeped into her voice, turning her stomach into knots. "No, Emily, not really. I went to visit her yesterday. She's been hiding things. Her doctor found something serious." Emily's heart sank. The vibrant plans in the café seemed trivial against the gravity of her mother's well-being. "What do you mean? What's wrong with her? Mom hasn't been honest with us. The doctors suspect it's cancer, and she's been too scared to tell us. I think she thought it would be easier, or maybe she just didn't want us to worry." A wave of nausea washed over Emily. It felt as if the world around her swirled even faster, tossing her in its chaotic tide. How long has she known? "I don't know. But we have to confront her. We have to be there for her." In that moment, Emily felt torn in two. On one side was a burgeoning community project meant to bring joy and creativity, something that did take time and effort, and on the other was her mother, facing a terrifying reality alone. What did it mean to be there for someone who might be slipping away? "Have you told anyone else?" she asked slowly. "No, I wanted to hear it from you first, to see how you felt about it. But I think we need to approach it together, we need to visit her." The weight of everything settled on Emily again, heavier this time. "Okay, let us go." As she hung up the call, the noise from the café faded entirely, replaced by an ominous quiet. It was like the world had paused for her to process the news. She stepped back inside, her heart a storm of confusion and dread. The laughter, the planning, everything felt distant and surreal. In the café, laughter erupted. Volunteers cheered as they finalized plans for the open mic night and book exchange. Emily forced a smile, but internally, she wrestled with a whirlwind of emotions. She could feel the exuberance of her friends, yet her own heart felt anchored in grief. "Hey, everything okay?" Lily approached her, concern etching her features. "Yeah, just got some family stuff to deal with," Emily replied, her voice shaky. Lily smiled gently. "You know we're here for you, right? Whatever you need." As Emily looked around at the excitement in the room, her fear grew. Could she even think about an event like the one they were planning when her mother's health was uncertain? Or did she need to step away, just for now? The choice weighed heavily, a dance between duty to her family and her commitment to the community. What would she choose? Just then, Mr. Hayes stepped forward. "Hey, Emily. Can I steal you for a minute?" She nodded, following him to a quiet corner. "I just wanted to see how you're feeling about everything." "You've been an amazing driving force," he said, looking genuinely interested. Emily tried to focus, but the anxiety gnawed at her. She glanced back at her friends, filled with questions swirling in her mind. "Mr. Hayes, do you think we can keep this momentum going, even if I have to leave for a while?" He nodded thoughtfully, his expression serious. "Momentum matters, but so does your family. It's okay to step back if you need to. Just remember, we believe in you, no matter what choices you make." Emily smiled weakly, appreciating the weight of his words. "Thanks, that means a lot." As she walked back, she couldn't shake the feeling that changes were coming both in her family and the community they were trying to build. Moments crisscrossed in her mind, anything could happen, and she was on the precipice of big decisions. Would she be able to balance both worlds? Time would tell. But one thing was certain, the truth, whatever it was, could change everything. As she joined the active discussions buzzing in the café, a new message pinged on her phone. It was from her sister again. "We need to talk sooner than I thought. I found out more with a pounding heart, Emily glanced at her friend's hopeful faces. The bright atmosphere around her suddenly felt like a fragile bubble ready to burst. What lay ahead was dark, and she could feel it echoing through her. What other secrets might be waiting to surface? Emily returned to the cafe's noise, her heart heavy but her mind buzzing with possibilities. She took a deep breath, surrounded by laughter and shared hopes. The walls felt alive, each connection made, each word exchanged, pulses of cherished memories knitted together. But in the background lurked fear and uncertainty, threatening to tarnish the brightest of moments. "Are you all right, Emily?" Lily's voice snapped her back to the moment. Concern danced in her eyes, puncturing the clouds of doubt swirling around. "Yeah, just family stuff," Emily murmured, forcing a smile, though her smile felt strained and thin. "I'll handle it." But could she really? The revelation about her mother pressed down hard, making her feel like she was swimming against a current. Yet, as Lily turned away, Emily's heart surged again. The cafe represented everyone's dream, fought for through shared memories and a passionate resolve, a hub for comforting friendships and joyous laughter, exactly what her mother needed right now. "Hey, everyone!" Emily called, her voice breaking through the excited chatter. "Can we gather up for a second? I have some thoughts about our event." In a heartbeat, chairs scraped across the wooden floor, and faces turned her way, bright with anticipation and support. She felt a surge of warmth envelop her, a reminder that they weren't just pooling together for a coffee shop, they were literally igniting a movement, a community determined to protect its home. "With everything we've been discussing for our fundraiser," Emily began, "I want to incorporate a tribute aspect." The crowd murmured, intrigued. "I think we need to weave in something special that honors everything this cafe represents, celebrating not just the cafe itself, but the history we've shared here. Including the stories of families like mine. We could feature a memory wall where everyone can write down a cherished moment." A bright-eyed woman from the back nodded enthusiastically. "I love that. It creates a personal connection. Also, people could pay to write their stories down. A small fee can go towards saving the cafe." "Yes." Lily jumped in, her excitement palpable. "We can even spell out the importance of it on flyers and social media. Help us save not just a cafe, but a community sanctuary." Emily felt energy dancing in her chest, renewed courage swelling with every suggestion. This wasn't just a plan, it was a movement. We can show that each of our lives is interconnected, that together, we can create real change. And we can invite families to share their stories live during the open mic. It gives our community a voice, a real reason to come together, someone shouted. The crowd erupted with encouragement, and Emily felt a weight shift inside her. Yes, she had worries about her family, but in this moment, her family was here too, joined by love and resilience. As enthusiasm filled the cafe, Emily's phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced down at the message from her sister, urging her to call. "I need to talk with you. It's about Mom." But instead of anxiety, she felt a sense of determination wash over her. She took a deep breath and made a decision: she could embrace both her family and this community. They were intrinsically linked, woven into the fabric of her heart. Rounding up the excitement, Emily raised her hands. "Okay, everyone. Let us get moving. We have a plan to put into action for our cafe." As the energy surged, Emily set her sights on her mom's health, knowing deep down that she would face it with a heart full of love, just like the community cherished its cafe. Together, they shouted with unwavering passion. Hope filled the room as they excitedly tossed around ideas, and ideas began to meld into concrete plans. Emily could feel it, a shift was occurring, a new chapter awaited, one where they fought not with bitterness but with compassion and resolve. The days leading up to the event were filled with rapid planning. Flyers flew to every corner of town. Friends volunteered to decorate the cafe, and musicians stepped up excited to share their passion. But underneath all of this, Emily knew the truth: she may have to leave eventually to support her family. Initially, panic brushed her heart, but slowly, she understood this was all connected. She could share her love for her mother while embracing this newfound hope rising within the community. The day of the event arrived with a bittersweet beauty. People gathered outside the quaint café. The sidewalk buzzed with families, children clutching memories in their little hands. Emily felt the warmth of shared stories flood her heart. She watched them connect, their spirits rising as they swapped joyful tales of laughter, tears, and dreams. Just as the sun began to set, painting the sky with strokes of orange, Emily felt a rush of gratitude. Seizing her moment, she stepped onto the makeshift stage, her heart pounding with vulnerability. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady despite the churn of emotions within. "Today, we aren't just saving our cafe. We're saving our community." Cheers erupted, filling her soul like the warmest embrace. Every memory shared is a thread weaving us closer together. "I know there are challenges ahead and I may need to step away. But every moment spent here fuels hope. Let us keep fighting for this space for our home." The energy pulsated through the crowd, filling each heart with purpose. In that moment of collective joy and determination, renewed strength flooded Emily. They had collectively birthed this beautiful chaos, and she knew in her heart that this cafe would continue to be a sanctuary, a symbol of resilience. As she looked around at the faces thriving with hope, Emily realized that family didn't only mean blood relations, it encompassed these beautiful, spirited people fiercely fighting for the heart of their village. Moments passed like waves of light, and she felt radiant, intertwined with love, compassion, and bravery. They had faced that daunting storm together, and what emerged was a strong, collaborative heartbeat. And then, she spotted Mr. Hayes, seated along the edge, not as a looming figure anymore but as someone witnessing a transformation. A flicker of understanding passed between them. They were both now connected by the love for a community they hoped would thrive, no matter the challenges. As Emily stepped down from the stage, her heart swelled with possibilities. In the blending of her fears, her worries, and the celebration of community, she found the answer, the truth that the cafe symbolized hope, connection, and love, and no matter what storms lay ahead, they would face them together. Now is the time for you to become part of this journey. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the incredible stories coming next. Every like counts, so leave a like now to energize our reach and feed the algorithm. We want to hear from you, so comment your thoughts on this emotional ending. And don't forget to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this life-changing transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. You need to be part of this community.